Did you figure out were you sick for very long?
Pardon?
Never mind, because we're streaming.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I think we're going live on the. Hey everyone.
Figure out were you sick for very long?
I think we're going live on YouTube,
Pardon?
and let's go ahead and get us going live on.
We're streaming.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I think we're going live on the. Hey everyone. Okay, perfect. Okay, and I'm just gonna get us going live on Facebook. So give me a second. How's everybody doing tonight? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. We're doing well, thank you, Coach Jeff. And how are you?
I'm hanging in there. Let me get the live started.
Good.
All right, get a clue in 52. This is number 7, right? I think this is number 7.
No, it's tip 8.
Today's 8?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I believe you, Patty. All right, so we're going to start live on Facebook right there. Okay, so we're live on Facebook now. We're live and streaming, and I might have titled it wrong on YouTube. My apologies, but here we are, 8:02 p.m. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but here we are. Get a clue in 52, and it's another installment. And tonight is week number 8 of the year, and number 8 in the communication section. And let's go ahead and get started with an excerpt from the dedications. Yeah. All right, here we go. Oh man. This one's tough, man. To Dr. Real, because like when I was writing the second edition of the book, he was still alive, right? And when I wrote the second edition of the book, I had to update the dedications to my dad and to my mom and get them into the present tense. And in between submitting everything for the second edition of the book and it actually coming out, Dr. Real, here it is. Oh man, he's passed. He's left us. Anyway, here we go. To Dr. Real, thanks for helping me see the best in myself, except for when you're bagging on me in front of Marianne to keep me in check, of course. To have such a deep and loving relationship with my professor over all these decades is a priceless blessing in my life. You mean the world to me. Wow. And he passed late December, I want to say, very late December or early January. Dr. Mike Real. All right. So part of this is dedicated to Dr. Mike. Get a clue in 52. 5 categories, 10 tips in each category, except for marketing, 2 extra tips in marketing. So I have a full year's worth. And we are in the communication section to start things off. So now I'll go ahead and get into a review of the tips that we've covered so far. Hey, Patty, Charlie, let me go ahead and welcome you guys on board. You're on the Zoom side with me. For those of you that want to join on Zoom, very easy. www.tinyurl.com/get-a-clue. Full disclosure, I golfed today. I didn't finish all 18 holes. We got about 13, 14 holes in before the sun went down. But I took my daughter, I took Abigail out there with me today so she could see and just so she could drive the cart and get the breeze in her hair and see the beautiful green of golf courses against the blue of sky. It was just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I had a beautiful time today. So I am, Charlie, full disclosure, I'm a little clubricated. I always, enjoy a beer or two on the golf course. And so here I am. But let me go ahead and review for you the first 7 tips that we covered in the communication section. And then we'll go ahead and read tip 8 word for word and then see what kind of conversations we can get into. Patty, Charlie, do you notice that I'm not on headset? That I'm just starting off with open audio so I don't have to trip out when we pivot? All right, here we go. Tip number 1, checking baggage. We all show up to communication with baggage. 3 bags in particular: our past and personal experiences, our culture, and our heredity. We all show up with that. So the degree to which we can come to grips with what is in our bags, anticipate the bags of others, we're going to become better encoders and decoders of the thoughts, ideas, and feelings in our mind. Better decoders of the thoughts, ideas, feelings people are trying to express, right? And so forth. That's what's tip number 1. Tip number 2, invite all of your senses to the listening party. Listening is mental, it's psychological. Hearing is physiological. So we can actually invite all of our senses to the listening party. What are we attending to? Can we attend to what we smell? Can we attend to what we hear? Can we attend to what we touch, taste, smell, see, and so forth? I invite all my senses to the listening party, and I invite you to invite all yours. All right, that was tip number 2. Tip number 3, overcome these. You'll overcome a lot. What are they? That's right, Patty. That's right. What are these? They're 5 barriers to critical thinking. They are stereotypes, frozen evaluations, self-interest, ego defense, and ethnocentrism. You want me to elaborate on that? Go back a couple weeks, watch the video. All right. We're going to move forward. Tip number 4, replace statements with questions. There's at least 3 places in Get a Clue in 52 where I really emphasize the power of questions. And I try to distinguish each of those tips to make them 3 separate tips. You know, when I'm really just saying, hey, Pat, questions are powerful. But there's a lot of different reasons why, a lot of different ways that questions become powerful. And if you just focus on replacing statements with questions, stay curious, my friends, you might be a better communicator. All right, tip number 5, CSI, communication, crime scene investigation. David Ahal, I see you out there. Hello, my friend. Hats off to you, my brother. Thanks for chiming in. So tip number 5 is CSI, crime scene investigation. That's the metaphor that I use to grab your attention, to point your attention to the fact that when we make claims, sometimes they're not believable. Sometimes people will resist or reject or doubt or question or refuse or resist or whatever. And so what makes a claim more believable? What makes a claim more digestible? Evidence. There are 7 forms of evidence I think I mentioned in tip number 5. They include facts, examples, statistics, analogy, testimony, comparison, demonstration. These are forms of evidence that make your claims more believable. Really important for public speakers, really important for salespeople, really important for, I digress. It's all of us, right? What makes our claims more evident? What makes our claims more believable, digestible, etc.? Tip number 6, eye contact is power. Eye contact is power. The wind, eyes are the windows to the soul, so on and so forth. And here we are in a COVID era, and we're missing out on the opportunity to see each other face to face. So you have to find in your device the camera. There it is, right there. Right there. And you need to look right into it to give the people on the other side of your Zoom the feeling that you're making deep and direct eye contact with them. Are you making eye contact? Are you sustaining eye contact? Are you making it deep? Are you making it direct? Are you shifty and beady and evasive? All of this matters, and it matters even more in a Zoom or mediated environment, a StreamYarded environment, a Zoomed environment, whatever your software is. Find the camera, look right into it so the people on the other side understand that you are trying to make eye contact with them. And then last week, one of the funnest tips in the whole book really is the Joe Loves Mary. And it's tip number 7 was Joe Loves Mary. And Joe loves Mary. Joe loves Mary. Joe loves Mary. Joe loves Mary? Same 3 words, every time I said it, but how I was saying it made the difference. So here's the Kluby snack. Are you ready, Charlie? Oh boy, Do I think I am ready for you tonight, Charlie? With the end of the set, I think I've got you covered, Charlie, tonight with a Cluey snack. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are just catching on to your first Get a Clue in 52, Charlie always asks me for a Cluey snack at the end of every session. I think I got him dialed in tonight. All right. Here it is. Here's one. I'm going to, this isn't tonight's Cluey snack, Charlie, but it's just a review of tip number 7. Are you ready? Here it goes. How you're saying what you're saying is, in fact, what you're really saying. I'll say it again. How you're saying what you're saying is, in fact, what you're really saying. And that's tip number 7. Joe loves Mary. And that brings us to tonight. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Hello, Karan. David, I hope he's still with us and watching on the Zoom side live. For those of you that are watching on the YouTube stream, this is live streaming to my YouTube channel. Watch Get a Clue, all one word. Thank you for chiming in. For those of you that are watching a replay of this in some future point in time, that's great too. I love all of you. It's like, here's the deal, man. If you could be doing anything, and then you decide to stop whatever else you could be doing, or not even start whatever else you could be doing, and you're going to watch this or be here instead, that means a lot to me. So I hope what we're about to do is valuable for you. And we're going to go ahead and open it up. Tip number 8 tonight shows up on page 31 in the second edition of Get a Clue in 52. And here's the word for word read. All right, is everybody ready to go? Perhaps you've heard that saying before. Everyone's favorite radio station is WIIFM ... which stands for What's in It for Me. Or if you prefer literature to radio, everyone is walking around this world. What? Hang on, let me try that again. Or if you prefer literature to radio, here, I know where I'm going with this. Okay. Or if you prefer literature to radio, everyone is walking around this word. Okay, not everyone, but most people, and even if not most people, enough people are walking around this world auto-biographically, meaning the story in their head is their story. So instead of joking when mimicking a DJ on the radio, let me get into my DJ voice. Hello, welcome to WIIFM, and you're listening to WIIFM. Here, I'm serious when saying you were talking to WIIFM. I'm serious when saying you are talking to WIIFM. If whatever you are saying does not benefit the person you are talking to, you've lost a huge percentage chance that they'll pay attention. Or continue to pay attention if the conversation does not benefit them or allow their participation, input, perspectives, or contribution. Thankfully, for you talkers out there, there are people that love to listen, to be there for you, that do not need to control a conversation or ever have it be about themselves. There's balance in the world when opposites come together like that. The rest of the time, it takes some mature communication skills to censor one's comments to only those that are selfless, inclusive, curious, inviting, complimentary, open/growth-minded, information-seeking, fun-loving, playful, and so forth. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Patty. I'm seeing in your face an appreciation of the rhythm of the read. I'll continue word for word on page 32. Without paying attention to the role self-interest plays in communication, you may be speaking to deaf ears or actually possess the deaf ears or both. That's kind of funny. Patty, isn't this crazy how I enjoy reading my own words so much? All right, I digress. Here we go. Back to the word for word. Yet people remain in one-way relationships or are constantly butting heads with others or sucked into other people's drama or any number of communication bummers that all stem back to the notion of self-interest. By the way, can we just carve that out as some sort of Cluey snack? Communication bummers? I want to popularize that. Charlie, are you with me? What's a communication bummer? Well, it's when somebody's butting heads with you, or when somebody gets sucked into somebody else's drama, or when somebody's in a one-way relationship, or when, right, somebody actually is speaking to deaf ears, has the deaf ears, or both. Those are all communication bummers. I like that. Hashtag, is that a hashtag, everyone? Is that worthy of a hashtag? What's a communication bummer? What a shame, right? I digress. Back to the word for word. If you could check yourself, did I wait, hang on. I interrupted myself before a sentence. All right, here we go. Yet people remain in one-way relationships or are constantly butting heads with others or sucked into other people's drama or any number of communication bummers that all stem back to the notion of self-interest, either failing to keep your comments in the realm of what others might be interested in, or failing to create an interest in what somebody else is interested in, or combinations thereof. Am I going too fast? Am I slowing down appropriately? How does it sound on your side, Patty and Charlie? Two paragraphs to go here.
It's good. You're enjoying yourself. That's
Okay,
all.
thank you. Okay, all right, thank you. That's all I needed to hear. I'll continue on page 32. If you can check yourself when you find yourself losing interest, if the conversation isn't about you, or if you can make sure that when you speak, it's in ways that interest, compliment, and invite others, you are going to be that person that others really want to be around. Most people are just tuned in to WIIFM or walking around autobiographically. Don't be like most people. Be someone who is liked by most people. And you do that by being interested in them. Pick up 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, or How to Win Friends and Influence People by, I believe, Andrew Carnegie. Dale or Andrew, one of the two, excuse me. For some classic reading on the role of self versus other interest in effective communication. Self versus other interest, right? So radio station, it's WIIFM, WIIFM. That's the radio station. What's in it for me? But literature, everybody's walking around autobiographically rather than biographically. Now, I'm not, people are not trying to write your story. They're trying to tell you theirs. And wow, what a recipe for ineffective communication. So there we have it. Tip number 8, Dale Carnegie. Thank you, Patty. Dale Carnegie. I'm Andrew, Dale, Andrew. I get them confused, like the Kennedys, the Carnegies. One of these days, people are going to get the Klubecks confused, but that's going to be a long time from now. Wait, was it Abigail? Was it AJ? Was it Brody? I forget which one. But we know Jeff. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for tuning in with me. You guys, open up the microphones. Patty, Charlie, what do you got? Let's pivot into conversation. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything.
Go ahead, Charlie. Start us off.
So usually ladies first, Patty.
I know, but we missed you last week.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling very well. It's, like as I was getting ready, I started feeling a bit nauseous and dizzy. And I wouldn't have full concentration, and it wouldn't be justifying the exercise. But anyway, it's good to be back. Good to see you guys, Coach Jeff and Patty. And the full disclosure is accepted, Coach Jeff.
Thank you, sir.
Last week, I noticed from the very first note, I went, uh-oh, he's lubricated.
Yeah. Let me just say this right up front. Nothing's going to stop me from being here on Sunday night. And if it weren't for Sunday night, I might, it's easy to go beyond lubricated and straight to sleeping, but I always measure myself. I always keep rings around my Saturn so I can be here on a Sunday night. And it's even fun to test myself, challenge myself, right? Hey, can I do it? How many beers can I drink? How tired can I be from golfing and still come on and do a dedication, read a review of the tips and read word for word the tips? And so it's a fun little challenge for myself on a weekend that I may not challenge myself with during a weekday, if you will. So thank you. Full disclosure, lubricated on a weekend. I enjoyed golfing today. And the cool thing was Abigail out there. Oh my God. She was driving the cart and taking pictures and enjoying the sights. And she just it was wonderful to be out there with her.
Must have been. I also would like to compliment you how you hold it together. it's very rare that you could find someone who is as committed to delivering what they dedicated themselves to do. And it brings to mind one of your teachings of structural integrity.
Structural integrity. That's right. Keep going.
So, watching last week's episode and, looking at it and going like, wow, not many people can hold it together like that and have focus after having a good afternoon and getting lubricated, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of one gentleman out in Lesotho, the very first visit we did to Lesotho. And when we met late afternoon, was he lubricated? And he organized a meeting with the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry within half an hour. And I was pretty worried to say, is this guy going to hold it together at this meeting? But to my surprise, when we got to the meeting, we had dinner at the Maseru-san. And as the conversation was going, it was like the guy had flipped a coin. I was going, but wasn't this guy totally lubricated like 10 minutes ago? But how we held it together, and I have to say, that was pretty cool. And I see that you have those same traits as well, and I need to applaud you to it.
Well, listen. Let me say a couple of things about it. It's a blessing and a curse, like many things can be, right? I'm really happy that I can have a couple drinks and still read word for word from a book, or that I'm still willing to be vulnerable, or willing to put myself out there. But, at the same time, when I look within, I think to myself, well, do I need to do that? Where's the discipline to stay away from that? Does it hurt my brand to show up that way? I go back and forth with it, and the reality is, you can't make everybody happy. You're not going to please people. I like this idea of being myself. Like, that's really, really important to me. I like the idea of no pretense, no smoke and mirrors.
Authenticity.
Yeah, authenticity. No smoke and mirrors, no pretense, no makeup. There's times where I put on makeup and put on lights and put on a tie. There's times where I got to do that, and there's times where I don't think I need to. To me, I'm just here on a Sunday night reading the tips for my book, getting the content laid down, having a good time with it. But that doesn't mean this is the perfect way to go. Not everybody would do it the way I'm doing it. And as much as, quote, I may be holding it together, I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that are going, oh my God, Jeff, you don't look like you have it all together right now. That's not a good look. And that's fair feedback. But I'm here showing up 8 o'clock every night, like I say I will. And I'm having a good time. And what's in it for me? That's the tip tonight. What's in it for me? What's in it for me tonight?
I know what's in it for me tonight. A good old Klubi snack.
Yeah, I get to that. Yeah, but what's in it for me? I get to read another tip, make another video, stream another thing, follow through on a reason I put content or messages out there, to stay top of mind with people. I get to continue to build community to the degree that this is building community. There's a lot of things I get to do tonight, and none of it has to be perfect. But
so anyway, that gets me now onto.
Yeah, real quick, Charlie. Let me just say hello to Karan, David, Aaron McDaniel. I see you out there. David says, "Let me know if you want some feedback." Clue, right? And so, yes, I do. Let me address that, David. I do. Come on to the Zoom side. Get it. It's tinyurl.com/get a clue. So come on in, join us live, and talk with us, or send me an email for some private feedback. All of that's good. All right, go ahead, Charlie.
You having now mentioned that what's in it for me from your perspective.
Yeah, we're talking about, just to make sure, just to reset, right? Real quick, Charlie. We're in Get a Clue in 52. This is what we're doing right now. We're reading a tip from the book, and it's tip number 8. And tonight's tip is what's in it for me. Understanding that most people communicate from a self-interest perspective, an autobiographical perspective, and the degree to which we can anticipate that, we can become better communicators if we show up with an other interested versus self-interested perspective. It takes a lot of confidence in oneself to do that, a lot of practice and otherwise, but that's what we're talking about. Thanks for letting me reset, Charlie. Go ahead.
No problem. You know, you having mentioned what's in it for me, meaning yourself, is creating the community as well. And then there's the part that I want to get into is what's in it for you, or what's in it for the next person, because we're always talking about adding value, etc. And from what you are doing with Get a Clue in 52 and reading your tips and we pivoting and coaching and so forth, there's quite a lot in for someone else. So when I come on to Get a Clue in 52, I'm going, right, what's in it for me? But then again, the autobiographical approach is kind of lost because I know intentionally what I'm coming to get.
All right, this is
what I'm wanting.
You could be conflicted with this because you feel, you love, you care, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest, you also need. We all do as human beings. We have our own needs, right? So
Yes.
I can understand the enormity of the conflict that one may feel, but this is easier than that. Very simple. Everything we do for somebody else is something for ourselves.
Yeah.
Period.
So, you know, yes, got you. Like being a networker and connecting with people, there's always the question, what can I do for you? But subconsciously or in the background or at the end, it will end up to being, right, what's in it for me? What are you looking to gain? Is it going to be, what is it going to be other than adding value to the person? What is in it for you? Why are you doing it? What do you look to it? What are you expecting to get out of it?
Yeah, I don't like the question. This may have come up for us last year when we went over this, Charlie, but I don't like the question. So what can I do for you?
Yeah.
I don't like that question.
Yeah, it wasn't a question.
Better than the statement, but there's better questions.
Yeah, you coming in or discussing or communicating with a person from the place of saying, what is it that I could do for you? Or what can I do for this person? How could I help them? But in doing so, what's going to be in it for me?
Well, that's why I don't like the question. What can I do for you? Here's what I'm getting at. I mean, if listen to the difference between these two things. So let's imagine we're talking for 10 minutes, and then ultimately I say to you either, so what can I do for you? Right?
I think you misunderstood. I think before you carry on, Coach Jeff, I think you misunderstood there. What I'm saying is not asking the question, is when you are speaking to someone, you internally are going and listening and paying attention to what they are saying to you. You identify that there could be a way that you could help them. So internally you ask yourself, what is there that I could do for this person? You're not asking them direct, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But on the other side, you're asking yourself again to say, if I do X, Y, Z for this person, what's in it for me? Without asking them what you could do for them.
Well, so far what you're saying now is it's completely an internal dialogue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now what?
So saying, as we do say, even though we would like to add value to people, there is always what's in it for me on the back end of that.
All right. So I'm not hearing a question there, but I mean, are you ready for me to respond and feed back to you, or do you have a question in there?
Well, it was more a statement. There was no question.
Yeah, well, remember, like one of the tips is replace statements with questions. But
Yeah.
so, all right, if you just make a statement, it's just floating there, and then I can either agree, disagree, add on, feedback, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I want to say is this, Charlie, the people. Well, let's put it this way: the degree to which you believe, like Zig Ziglar. Let me come through a quote. Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar says that if you just focus on helping other people get what they want, everything you want will come to you.
I've
Okay.
heard that quote before. Yeah.
Now, even though I understand that, and even though I can teach that or profess that or share that, I still do what you're saying, which is I still have the what's in it for me conversation in my own head
Mm-hmm.
when I'm trying to help others. But what happens is like over time, the more successful we become, the more abundance we accumulate, the easier it is to really just focus in on the helping part with more faith in the what I need will come to me part. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, but this is
Yes.
something that I struggle with, Charlie. I'm a wordsmith. I'll give you an example. I'm a wordsmith. I was contacted recently about domains that I own, right? And I'm going to go ahead and say
Yeah.
what they are right now. Master of Resilience and Masters of Resilience. I own those domains. I was contacted by somebody and he said, hey, listen, my fiance, she's in the military. She wrote a book, helping veterans try to avoid suicide. And the book's called Master of Resilience. And if we can get that domain, it would mean a lot to us. And are you with me? And so like now I'm torn. I was absolutely torn. I'm like, well, wait a second. I could sell this domain. GoDaddy says this domain's worth $1,500, and I buy domains because I'm a wordsmith and I want to monetize my wordsmithing. And what's in it for me to buy a domain and pay for the domain, pay for the annual renewal of the domain, unless I
Monetize
that
it.
domain
Yeah.
to a coach that I've trained to help them start their business, or I get paid for that domain. Like what's in it for me? So I actually reached back out to them, and rather than it be anonymous communication, I wanted to find out the totality of what was in it for me. Like, hey, why do you want this domain? What are you willing to offer for this domain? What's your purpose? Maybe I want to give you this for free. Would you be willing to buy one of my books and let the proceeds go to charity? Can I get a signed copy of your fiance's book when it comes about? Are you just trying to prevent people from committing suicide? Is it just a book? Or are you going to get suicide prevention coaching? Are you going to refer people to live human beings that can prevent, or do you think that the book alone is going to prevent people? I was asking all these questions thinking like, where is the highest and best use of not just my wordsmithing getting the domain, but anything else that I can contribute to what they're working on to find the highest and best use of that interaction. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
So I ended up just giving them the domains in good faith. And hopefully they buy a copy or two of my book, the signed version where money goes to Charity for Hope. Hopefully they send me a signed copy of their book so I could read it and get behind the movement. Hopefully they want to learn how to coach or refer people to people that want to learn how to coach so that we can maybe get some suicide prevention coaches that know how to actually coach, ready on the 1-800 number if this book generates outreach to real human beings. And so I digress on that story, but can you imagine how I'm conflicted? I'm like, ooh, I got something. Masters of Resilience. GoDaddy says it's worth $1,500.
Yeah.
Do I just give this away for free? Do I expect nothing in return? Do I see what the highest and best use of my input is on this? What's the so it's never perfect, man. I will say that every instance of helping others is absolutely an instance of helping yourself, and I don't think it's wrong to explore the totality of WIIFM. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? That doesn't mean that you don't give selflessly, because there's plenty of times when you do. And this happens to me all the time. People want my content. People want my words. People want my sayings. People want my Covey snacks. No offense, but people want my stuff. They want to take my stuff and they want to use it for themselves, right? And what's in it for me when they do that? I don't know. You know, Patty, what do you got?
I was thinking when you were reading about the listener that I didn't realize how much of a listener I could be, because there are a couple people that when I talk to them, it's all about them. And
Yeah.
I just, I just know they need to be heard. But it's not my preference. I'd rather have an exchange back and forth.
Yeah, you want balance. You seek the balance, and then you're like, oh, like I know I'm being a listener right now. Okay, I know that this is meritorious. I just wish they'd have a slight, look, I was saying this to somebody, I think I was saying this to my kids the other day. If it feeds you, feed it. If it eats you, kill it.
That's very, very, very clear.
Yeah.
So I was also like contemplating what question I could ask. And one of the questions I asked in these conversations is, so what is the purpose of you telling me that? Or, why are you sharing this story with me?
Now you're getting back into Charlie land. Charlie likes to string the pearls and bring all the tips together, right? So this is something that Charlie does beautifully, right? So if you keep WIIFM in mind, and then you replace statements with questions, and you invite all your senses to the listening party, you start to develop questions that can bring WIIFM into balance.
Yes.
Right? So I'll give you one of my favorite.
I need to have my channel on.
Can I share one of my favorite questions that handles the WIIFM?
Yes, please do.
You guys ready for this?
You ready? I'm ready.
It's a layered question. So it's not just one question. There's actually more than one question in the question. But are you ready? It goes into something like this. Is there anything else you want to ask me or share with me?
Yes, we ask that in coaching.
I mean, like it's usually at the end of sentences. Hi, Ellen. How you doing? Nice to see your feedback. I love what you told my kids. I hope my kids love it too. Thank you for that feedback, Karan, Aaron, David, Ellen, anybody that's watching on Facebook Live. Thank you. We're doing another installment of Get a Clue in 52 coming to you. And tonight was tip number 8 in the communication section, tip number 8 overall this year. And we're talking about WIIFM, what's in it for me. The literature version of that would be walking around auto-biographically instead of bio-graphically, right? Somebody just walking around bio-graphically wants to write your story. Somebody walking around auto-biographically wants to tell you their story, right? So we can be better communicators when we invest in the biographical approach, when we understand that our own and others' dials are tuned in to WIIFM, what's in it for me. So here we are with Patty and Charlie that are with me live on the Zoom side. If you want to join me on the Zoom side, it's very easy. tinyurl.com/get a clue, and you'll pop right in. Passwords get a clue if they ask you for one. Go ahead, Patty. Let's continue. Let's pick up where we were. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I was just thinking about the difference between the unconscious communicator and the conscious communicator.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we want to have an exchange in a conversation, we're both coming from the WIIFM side, right?
Yeah.
So the conscious communication is sort of a give and take. And when you read that whole string of information seeking, fun loving, playful, all those words that you read, that's what you want. That's what I want to have in a conversation.
That was fun, wasn't it? That's where I got that facial expression for you that I love so much, right? Wasn't that fun rhythm? And the I don't know how to explain it necessarily, but where was it? It was right at the bottom of page 31, wasn't it? Yeah, the selfless, inclusive, curious, inviting, complimentary, growth / open-minded, information-seeking, fun-loving, playful, and so forth. That's right, how we want to be.
Yeah, censor was one's comments to just those things.
Wouldn't it be great if everybody censored their comments to only allow those? What a wonderful world it would be. Well, anyway, yeah, it's great. It's great feedback, you guys. And we're having fun every week, aren't we? It's really cool to make a video recording every week of a reading of each of these tips. Like by the time this year's done, I'm gonna have 104 videos, right? 2 years running. I mean, I have to do a third edition of Get a Clue in 52 in Q4. But I've got 2 other books I want to come out with this year before I do that. So I want you guys all to know real quick. Let me go ahead and tell you, I'm going to switch this around. Hang on, my Facebook Live. Back to just me here for a moment. I want you all to know that the reason to get this book, especially if you already got this one, if you got the first edition of Get a Clue in 52, why would you get the second edition? Well, first of all, it's got a beautiful description of the book from Patty Blakesley, your inner business coach. Second of all, there's a Dear Growth Seeker letter in there from me to you about what's different in this edition. And most of all, the most important reason is because it has a bonus chapter on the integrity game. The next book I'm going to come out with this year, I don't know, actually, I might come out with a mastermind book before I come out with the integrity game. I'm just going to see which takes longer to produce. They're both in the works. They're both like written up here, right? It's just which one's going to get produced first. But the bottom line is, oh boy, am I proud of this. The bonus chapter, Patty, have you read it? Have you read the bonus chapter in the integrity game? Can I ask you to?
Yes, I have.
Do you want to maybe say a word about it, like without giving it all away? What was the impact on you? Like, do you have an idea of what the integrity game is all about? Can we talk about that for a second?
Absolutely. So the chapter was very intriguing because the master communicator has the conversation with the person who isn't really feeling very good about what they're doing in their job as are they the peanut seller at the baseball game?
Right?
Yeah, vendor.
So we got a vendor at a baseball park who is complaining.
Very upset, complaining.
About
definitely in what's in it for him, right?
Yeah, complaining, what's in for me, complaining. Openly cheering for the home team to lose.
So he can go home.
The season ticket holder calls him out and confronts him, right? Hey man, you haven't sold me any hot dogs. What's going on with you? Right? So, and anyway, off we go. The integrity game, it's a business parable. It's a story and it's make-believe, but it's going to weave in my comprehensive approach to personal and professional growth, which I'm calling the integrity game. So the integrity game is already a keynote, a successful keynote, by the way, which I'm really proud of it. And then now it's going to be a book, and then it's going to be everything. I used to say the Get a Clue coaching and leadership training. I used to say Get a Clue coaching or Get a Clue training or Get a Clue soft skill trainings. All of it now. It's all the integrity game. Integration, motivation plus accountability equals results. And I couldn't be more excited about the book I'm writing right now, the integrity game. The preview chapter is in Get a Clue in 52. And before this year ends, 2021, at some point, the integrity game is coming out in book form. So let me know if you want to get on a pre-sale list or something like that. Contact me privately. Otherwise, it's just fun to, it's like so many people say, well, you already did a video every year last year for Get a Clue in 52. Why are you doing it again this year? Well, I want to use this book as a Trojan horse to promote the integrity game. And there's all kinds of other reasons why I'm still on here every Sunday night, streaming into YouTube now this time, whereas last year I streamed into Facebook. So it's just the accumulation of content, getting more of a digital footprint, being more search findable, putting the messaging out there into the ether, creating community, staying relevant, having a reason to reach out to people in my database every single week of my life, and so forth. All right. So we're heading towards final call. Can you feel it? Patty, Charlie, we're heading towards final call. Do you guys have any other comments or questions that we can address for you guys tonight and get a clue in 52? Tip number 8 in the communication section and tip number 8 overall for this year in the second edition.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good. Good. All right. Let me look on the Facebook side. I don't see any.
Other than my Covey snack that I'm waiting for.
All right. You want a Covey
very
snack?
patiently.
Yeah. I got something written down for you here. Are you ready? All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I got so many choices here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Cluby snack. You ready? Some people are committed to avoiding commitment. I love that. Yeah, thank you for hearing the irony there. I'll give you a follow-up. I should save it as a separate Cluby snack, but I'm going to bonus you out, Charlie.
Got you.
Charlie, this is for you. I'm bonusing you now.
Yeah.
Here's a Cluby snack that goes in tandem. It's like I gave you a chocolate chip. Now I'm giving you an oatmeal raisin. Are you ready?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. I can't read the second one unless the second one is not as strong unless you read the first one first. So I'm going to say them in tandem. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Some people are committed to avoiding commitment. Cluby snack number 2 for tonight. How do you treat people on your way to what you're committed to? How do you treat people on your way to what you're committed to? Some people are committed to avoiding commitment. All right, so there's a couple of Cluby snacks around commitment, which have nothing to do with WIIFM, except they have everything to do with WIIFM, because everybody's walking around auto-biographically. All right, how's that, Charlie? How do we do, buddy?
100.
All right, wonderful. All right, ready to see them?
I love them.
Here we go. Last call. Get a clue. 52 is going to go ahead and sign out for a Sunday night. All right. Love you so much, guys, for coming on board every week with me. Thank you so much for being here. Here we go. Sealing it with a kiss. Mwah. Woo-hoo. Get a clue.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week, Coach Jeff.
All right, everyone.
Have a good week.
And see you guys next week.